They're wonderful exhibitors.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hemant Oberoi. Fortunately or unfortunately, I am with Taj Group of Hotels. And my association with them have been for the last 41 years. I just donned my whites and now I am a consultant with them for 1 year. During my 4 decades, we have seen the cuisines in a very different format. In 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000 and now 2010, things have changed dramatically. And when I took over, we were just about 10 crore rupees business of F&B in Taj. And today I have handed over back 1,000 crores F&B. So that's what my job has been. And it's been a good journey throughout. And I'm still ahead of times. Probably I went sometimes too much ahead of times, but that was the way I wanted the industry to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hemant. Friends, I'm S.P. Jain, Managing Director of the Pride Group of Hotels. We have 15 hotels, 12 are operating, and it contains ownership as well as managed property. 7 property we own, balance we manage for other owner. We are opening tomorrow hotel in Baroda, and by end of this month or beginning of next week in Delhi, the Aero City, that is Pride Group largest hotel with 400 rooms, and we are more than 25 years into the service, and I have been to President, Secretary and various positions of our association to render service to our members. Friends, with these few words, we start our session, and it's a very interesting subject. And I must congratulate first of all to our organizer. The subject which we have chosen is the biggest challenge and the time we had. And it looks, this convention is not a regional convention, it looks like a FHRI convention, it is a all India level convention. Now, friends, you know, the last few years the room occupancy has a challenge because of the oversupply in number of cities, and F&B has played a very important role. I have understand some of the hotels, F&B sales are more than their room sales, which generally used to be room ratio to the F&B revenue 30% or so. So this is the very important subject which you all are also expert, and we have an expert team here. I want not a lecture-oriented session, it is an interactive session where we all will share our experience, thoughts, and how we can make the concept of the restaurant understand properly of the international cuisine which is coming more and more in India, and more opportunities are opening the gate, and our guests also are preferring to them. So now friends, the successful restaurant depend upon creative space where customer want to linger and the menu that communicate the unique identity of your restaurant. The concept statement in a document that provide information about how the restaurant create a brand, attract clientele and make enough money to survive. Describe the type of food you will be preparing in your statement. Choose the culinary theme that broad enough allowed to innovate, but narrow enough to customer to easily understand. For example, American food is too broad, but my grandmother recipe is too narrow, while Southern comfort food provide both identity and bring the room. Describe the way your restaurant decor will work the synergy with your menu. Theme, for example, you plan to open a fine dining restaurant, you should find linen, attractive plates. If you reopen a local food restaurant, select the decor inspired by the local theme. There is a very strong feeling of creating a brand. And unless you don't create, difficult to survive for long. Each restaurant can create its own independent brand. And it is a time where you have various Indian, Oriental themes restaurant offering like Japanese cuisine, Thai, Korean, lot of things which you can offer. But they will have to go with your theme, with your concept, with your statement. One good news is today, I was reading in the newspaper, that India has become $2 trillion economy, $2 trillion economy. In first 60 years, Indian economy was 1 trillion. 60 years, please mind. In last 7 years, we have become 2 trillion economy. It means India is the fastest growing country. And the income which we are on the lower income group is going, India is traveling toward the upper income group. That is the good news for the restaurateurs and hoteliers, because if customer and guest has the surplus money in the pocket, then only he try to travel to the restaurants and other. So this is a best opportunity with us available. Now I put to some important questions, and later on we will have interaction between among ourselves to share our experience. I put to all the speaker, this is a very common question and which need to be their expertise. How do you keep process of innovation and keep showing up an era of new offering in the field of your restaurant? Yes, Kishan.
In terms of innovation, I'll just go back a little from where I started. I mean, after having a 20-year run with five-star hotels, India, abroad, starting with the Oberoi Group, when I came to Hyderabad to start up my first venture, so the whole idea was you came in with all the ideas, what you learned in all the hotels, and you're stuck there. Where you are working from a department, and then you suppose a machine goes out, you call up maintenance, something goes wrong, you call up housekeeping, you scream at the front office, you have people to blame, departments to depend upon. But when you become an entrepreneur, it's a 360-degree complete responsibility. So that was the first learning for myself. Understanding the market, what is the market, how different am I going to be, is what the question which was asked by myself 12 years back, and the same question I'm asking today, how am I going to do things differently to make people come back again? This business is not about getting people for the first time. The business is about how do I make you come back again to our restaurants to experience our product. So innovation is constantly a part of our cycles, and especially being a chef in the business gives us that advantage by a mile, as long as we are being interactive and always, as I said, the technology session which was there previously, now keeping ahead with the trends, the global trends, what is the styles abroad, what is happening, how the world is coming around, evolving, and finally keeping in pace with the evolving is where innovation is a constant part of this business, to keep it more exciting and give a different feel every time you come in.
As the cliche goes, change is the only constant in our industry. Without innovation, we don't succeed. We cease to exist also. I do remember there's one tiny little restaurant in Tamil Nadu, in the temple town of Kumbakonam, where you have a 102 years old restaurant. It's actually a small coffee shop. And it's close to one of the temples there. They specialize in serving meals in the night. The only restaurant in the town which serves meals with rice, the South Indian food, in the night time. The rest of the people have switched over to chapatis. People believe that eating rice in the night will add to their calories and to their health problems. But this gentleman has been running that show. But he has been consistent about it. What he has innovated upon, and which has become global news, is that he keeps a board in front of his shop. Apart from the prices given on the menu, including the coffee, which he is famous for, he has also made it a point to give daily updates on different Tamil scholars, different scholars from the north, East and the West, write-ups on composers, poets, philosophers, programs coming up in the temple, festivals coming up shortly, small updates which keeps attracting the people. Whenever they want some quick update on what's happening around in the small town, they remember to go to him. And what is he famous for? With all the innovation, he has stuck to one, which is a signature recipe, which is known as the degree coffee, South Indian filter coffee, which is famous for. It's called as Venkatramana Cafe, which captivated me because I've been there a couple of occasions and I found it very interesting. But we have had experiences in Hyderabad and other places also, where without innovation they have suffered. They had to close down, and that's because they didn't find time to change themselves. They were blind to changes happening around them,